Hello, everyone. At this time, we'd like to invite up Rabbi Sachai to lead us in a prayer. Rabbi?
Hello, everyone. My name is Rabbi Sakai. I'm the executive director of the STAR organization, youth organization in Beverly Hills. I'm very proud to be here, not only because I was asked to speak, but I'm very proud because all of this was put together by kids, by teens. That to me, because I work with teens and kids all the time, it's unbelievable because we need to teach our youth to be the directors of things like this, to put together things that surround them with unity and love and acceptance. And this is what we preach in Judaism. Wanted to discuss something with the group on such a day, unfortunately. Unfortunately, we have another day in our calendar that at least for now we can't call a holiday. They say in our texts that the most horrific day in Jewish history, known as the 9th of Av, Tisha B'Av, which Jews fast every year for, it was the date of the destruction of our two temples and massacres that went on, the Spanish Inquisition, all of that. They say that in the end of times, when Moshiach comes, it's going to turn into the most beautiful holiday. I hope that it's going to also usher in the holiday, including days like October 7th, because it definitely changed our lives, all of our lives. The entire world changed. I watched an interview being done with one of the chief rabbis of Israel, Rabbi Yisrael Meir Lau. He was one of the previous chief rabbis, Ashkenazic chief rabbis of Israel. Not only was he the chief rabbi, but he himself was a survival of Holocaust. When he was 7 years old, he was rescued from Buchenwald. In fact, he's one of the most famous children that was rescued from the Holocaust. His picture is one of those staple pictures of children being saved. One of the rescuing officers that actually saved him was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's father, the famous basketball player. A few years back, Kareem went to Israel, met up with the chief rabbi. It was a beautiful meeting. Rabbi Lau was asked this question in his interview: don't you ever want to take revenge? They took his father, they took his mother, they took one of his siblings, the only surviving part of his entire family, other than his cousins and extended family, was himself and an older brother. His older brother was the person who saved his life because children were not allowed to survive. They weren't needed. Part of his time in Buchenwald he spent in a backpack being carried by his brother, no one knowing there's a human being in the backpack. So when they asked him this question, I was ready for that answer. Like, don't you want revenge? Don't you want to see those people punished? All those people that made you suffer. How do you feel about it? And the answer that he gave, when I heard the answer, the first thing I thought about was, this is exactly why he became the leader of a nation. It takes a leader to think this way. He said, no, I don't think there's a way to even do that. However, he said, many people have asked me this question: how is it, Rabbi, that you came out of a fiery furnace of death and you not only did not lose your faith in God, you thrived in your faith to becoming one of the leading chief rabbis of the world? How did that survive? How did you see so much bad in the world, yet you became a figure of spirituality, of godliness? And he said, I had two options. One was, I could leave, survive, build a new life for myself and say, forget about all of this, forget about Judaism, forget about God, forget about the Torah, forget about all of it. What did it do for me? He lost his family, he lost his siblings, he lost his father, mother. What did it do for me? And then he thought to himself, but that's what the Nazis wanted. That was their goal. If I do that, who wins? So he said, I decided, no, I'm going to keep my faith. I'm going to strengthen my faith. I'm going to keep my Judaism. I will keep my pride, and I will go as high as I can in this religion. I will be so connected to my roots so that now, today, when I have hundreds of grandchildren and great-grandchildren that surround me on Passover, that pray with me the tefillot during the Yamim Noraim, I could look at them and say, I took my revenge. I won. They lost, and I won. There's a lot of messages that are coming out of October 7th. The message of every Jew has to be, I will not let this take away my pride as a Jew. If I do, they win. I need to win. As we say in Hebrew, Netzach Yisrael lo yeshaker. We will not go down because we have God watching over us all the time. We've survived so much worse. And God willing, we're going to get through this. In Israel, every single day, Beyachat nenatzeach, together, we will have victory. Together, we will win. And Be'ezrat Hashem, with God's help, we will. We just have to be united. And we have to be proud of what we represent. We represent the Jewish nation that has survived much worse than this in history. It is my prayer that God willing, peace will come to the world, and a day will come, a day of Moshiach, that everybody will live in peace together. And Be'ezrat Hashem, before then, we'll have all the hostages back home. Amen. I'd like to invite Rabbi Daniel Lulian to please lead us for a tefillah, prayer.
Thank you very much. I wanted to give a big thank you, first of all, to the city of Beverly Hills. I brought today a famous rapper, a Jewish rapper, BLP Kosher, which a lot of kids follow, and he has his music has a lot of good meaning for our children, for our teens. And he was scared to come because he's been around, and being a Jewish rapper and supporting Israel and supporting what's meaningful, he's a target. And he carries a gun actually wherever he goes, but he's from Florida, he couldn't bring it with him. The rabbi, I don't feel safe to come there. So I said, Beverly Hills is a different place. Nothing in this country is like Beverly Hills. So I want to thank, first of all, our mayor, the city council, Mr. Darian, the board of the school, our dear president, principal of Beverly Hills High School. Thank you very much for always really making us feel safe, comfortable. All the flags, nowhere in this country is a love for Jews and Israel and the safety, our safety, more than Beverly Hills. So thank you very much. I also want to thank, of course, the presidents of the Jewish clubs at Beverly Hills, all 3 Jewish clubs, for putting this together. God bless you. And may God bless you to make incredible gatherings. This should be a small little project for future gatherings in the masses in quantity and quality. God bless you. So, myself, the rabbi, many others, we were recently at the Nova Festival exhibition here in Los Angeles. And many videos from cell phones of those who are no longer here, many of them said the same few words. Elohim, God, I don't want to die. They said the Shema Yisrael prayer, which means It's the last prayer where Jews, whether in Auschwitz, in the Spanish Inquisition, anywhere in the world, or Daniel Pearl in 2001 in the Taliban, this was the last prayer. So please join me as we say this prayer. And of course, we pray for the city of Beverly Hills. We pray for this country. May God bring unity and love for all humanity. Amen. Please cover your eyes. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Machuto Leolam Va'ed. I'll say a prayer from King David, chapter 121 in Psalms, which speaks how God Almighty watches the land of Israel day and night and protects it. Just last week, almost 200 ballistic missiles landed in Israel, and miraculously, we were safe. It's an incredible miracle, and I pray for Israel and the entire world. Please join me together. Shir lamalot esaena el ha'arim meyayin yavo ezri im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz hayiten lamot raglecha al yanum shomrecha hine lo yanum velo ishan shomer Yisrael Adonai shomrecha Adonai tzilcha ayad yeminecha Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka veyareach balayla Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra yishmor et nafshecha Adonai yishmor tzedcha uvoecha mi'ata v'ad olam. What about the shofar? The shofar is a sound, the cry of the soul of each one of us. Many of the survivors wish to hear this past year the shofar. The hostages wish to hear the shofar. Our soldiers left their families and they weren't able to hear the shofar. So we're going to hear the shofar and have it in mind. Please rise for the sounding of the shofar. I wish you Shana Tova, a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Jillian Samadi and I am the president of the Beverly Hills High School Jewish Club, and I stand here today with the leaders of our Israel Club and Jewish Student Union. I want to start by thanking the district, including the Board of Education, for supporting us with not only this event, but as a whole. I also want to acknowledge Ms. Rebecca Starkins for her support in putting this event together. We gather today with heavy hearts, still grappling with the tragedy that took place on October 7th, 2023, a day that will forever be etched in the memory of our people. On that day, we witnessed a massacre of unimaginable cruelty, an attack by Hamas, not only on the land of Israel, but on the very heart of the Jewish people. On that day, terrorists launched a brutal and coordinated attack, targeting civilians, men, women, and children, who were simply going about their daily lives. This massacre shattered families, communities, and any sense of security they had. Homes, schools, and places of peace became scenes of horror. The world watched in disbelief, and many of us were left grappling with the sheer senselessness of their violence. Over 1,000 innocent lives were lost, and now 101 of our own remain hostages, held captive by those who seek to extinguish our light. To the families of the 101 hostages, we stand with you. Your heartbreak is our heartbreak, and your hope is our hope. We will not rest until every one of your loved ones is brought home. But as we seek for their release, we must also remain strong in spirit. Our resilience is not just in our survival, but in our refusal to let hate and fear rule our hearts. we will continue to stand proud as a people who cherish life, who value peace, and who believe in justice. The pain we feel is not just the pain of mourning, it's the agony of uncertainty, the anguish of the families who do not know the fate of their loved ones. Every moment that passes without their return is a reminder that our suffering is not over, and our struggle for justice continues. But even in this dark time, we remember who we are. We are a people who have faced the depths of hatred and persecution throughout history, and yet we have never been broken. Our strength is not just in survival, but in our unwavering commitment to life, community, and the Jewish faith. This moment calls for unity, for strength, and for unwavering faith. The world is watching how we respond. Let us show them the true face of the Jewish people, a people who in the face of terror stand tall, a people who in the face of suffering hold to their values, people who will never allow the forces of hatred to win. We have endured many dark days before, and we will endure this one too. We are stronger than those who seek to harm us. We are united by our history, our faith, and our hope for a better future, and we will continue to fight for that future, for the hostages, for their families, and for the generations yet to come. Am Israel Chai, the people of Israel live. We live through our resilience, through our unity, and through our unshakable belief that no matter how deep the darkness, the light of justice and peace will prevail. May the memories of those lost be a blessing, and may the hostages return swiftly and safely. And lastly, may we seek peace in our time. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Breggy to come up.
Thank you, Jillian, and thank you, students. Today I'm reminded of resilience, strength, unity. You've heard the words being said already today, and we all carry that coming here. I stand with our Jewish students. I have had incredible experiences just recently, and want to thank our Board of Education for allowing me to attend a 2-week transformative trip to Israel. And at that time, just a few months ago, I had the most impactful moment of my entire life. And that was getting off the bus in Israel at the Nova Music Education Festival and spending the entire afternoon with people, families that have been through this tragedy and have hostages that are still not home. Visiting this site was incredibly impactful to me personally, but also as a leader. I also want to take this moment and thank you as the school district superintendent, but also as a resident here in Beverly Hills. I sincerely want to thank each of you for giving me the grace to grow and learn as your leader, and for standing with all of us today as we are here for unity and remembrance and supporting our students because their lives have forever changed. Thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce you to our board president, Dr. Amanda Stern.
The attack on Israel 1 year ago today was devastating. As I watched the news reports and the subsequent anti-Israel protests across the country, my belief in Israel as the Jewish homeland grew even stronger. There is no question that Jews need at least one place in the world that will protect us and never turn us away. And I came to feel that Beverly Hills is our safe place in the city. In the face of this unimaginable tragedy, I saw hundreds, thousands in our community mobilized like I've never seen before. What can I do to help? Where can I send money? What do the displaced families need? It was amazing to feel the strength and unity of this community. Though we were grieving, we were not weakened. The Jews have been through tragedies like this over and over throughout history, but we never give up. And just like the Jews, just like Israel, this tree may face floods, droughts. It may be blown by fierce winds, but it won't be broken. It will grow stronger and stronger every year. We dedicate this tree of life in memory of those whose lives were stolen on October 7th. The hostages who have died in captivity and the soldiers who have made the greatest sacrifice. May this tree also be a reminder that 101 hostages remain prisoners in Gaza and we must bring them home. Am Israel Chai. I would like to welcome up the Honorable Mayor, Lester Friedman. Thank you.
So it is so inspiring to see as many people here for basically this impromptu gathering. I have a few written remarks, and I want to make some from the heart also. As a city that always stands with Israel, today we share a message of love and hope for those kidnapped and killed 1 year ago. The emotions we all feel today are shared around the world. The unspeakable pain and suffering caused by the hands of evil Hamas. I had an opportunity to travel to Israel earlier this year and visited the site of the Nova Festival. Went to Kibbutz Be'eri, met with the foreign ministry, went to Sedroit, and saw hundreds of people gathered at Hostage Square in Tel Aviv. What we witnessed is vicious and savage murder and of the lives of our loved ones in Israel. It's been exactly 1 year since the attack, and still there are families waiting in agony for their family members to come home. As you have seen, our flag display is back in Beverly Hills Gardens, paying tribute to the lives lost, representing countries all around the world. With this exhibition, Beverly Hills reminds the world that we will never be afraid and will always speak out, and we will always honor the lives of the victims and those suffering. So, I sit here and I see these young students, young men and women here, and it gives me some sense of relief knowing that this is the next generation. Here we have these youngsters who, and they're youngsters to me, I'm a grandfather, so I think I'm allowed to say that, wearing their signs of Judaism proudly. It's something that I have been doing ever since I came back from Israel, and I am not afraid to go out there and show people that I am supportive of Israel. I am a proud Zionist. Zionism is the hope for a land of Israel, home for the Jews. The Jewish population in the world is 0.02%. That means that 98.8% of the world is not Jewish. To say that we are not entitled to have a homeland, our ancestral homeland, is just unbelievable to me. I thank the administration of our public school. These young women, men and women are going to be our leaders, and they have come through the Beverly Hills Unified School District. I am so proud. I had 4 children go through this system, and they are all strongly supportive of Israel. They've had trips to Israel, and I think that is something that is so important for our young men and women. I think it is so important for them to visit Israel, to see their ancestral homeland. I think that gives them a sense of what it's like to have a homeland, to see what's going on in Israel. One of the favorite things that my wife and I do when we go to Israel is we go to the wall, to the Kotel, and we go on Friday night just before sunset, because that's when all of the youth groups meet at the Kotel. And seeing those young faces happy, not so much on our last trip there, but it gives you a sense that we are going to be able to survive to the next generation and the next generation after that, which is so, so important. So thank you to our school district. Thank you to the administrators who are all here today. Thanks to those teachers, parents, and especially the students who went out of their way to do this. Am Yisrael Chani. I'd like to introduce our Vice Mayor, Sharona Nazarian.
Well, today has been quite a rough day, and my colleagues and I have gone to so many different ceremonies, but by far, we were looking forward to this one, because you guys light up our lives, and we're so grateful. So thank you to the Beverly Hills High School Jewish Club, Israel Club, Jewish Student Union, and all of you for being here today. We all know October 7th marks the darkest day in Jewish history since the Holocaust. On this day, women, men, children, they were all brutally tortured, burned, and murdered in the most horrific ways imaginable by Hamas, a recognized terrorist organization. Today, we stand in solidarity and say, never again. We honor the innocent lives lost, and as our mayor just spoke about the 1,400 flags, these flags represent 30 nationalities and are displayed on Santa Monica Boulevard. I really want all of you to go visit them. They're going to be there until October 14th at the October 7th Memorial Square for the entire world to see. Each flag is a reminder of our shared grief, but also our strength and our courage. We vow to never forget, so such atrocities never happen again to any race, religion, or ethnicity. So to the students here today, I want to say thank you. I am so proud of you all. You are the next generation of leaders, and it gives me great hope and joy to know that you are compassionate, you are thoughtful, you are intelligent enough to know the importance and the significance of commemorating this important day. You are our future, and through your acts, you bring light into our world. Through your acts, you bring wisdom, you bring that courage, and you pave the way towards unity, which is exactly what we need right now. I think we should clap for our young people. So I've said this a few times today, but recently we welcomed a delegation of 80 bereaved Israeli youths to our city from Israel. They were all about the same age as our young people here, and each had a sibling or a parent who had passed on October 7th, or I should say were brutally murdered. As we toured City Hall and shared the steps we've taken to support our strongest ally, Israel, emotions were extremely high. These young people were filled with so much grief. They had seen so much hate towards their people on social media. Many began to cry, and as we hugged, they said, "Thank you. We thought the entire world was against us." You know, my friends, that was a very powerful moment. we are reminded that we must continue to stand on the right side of history with courage and to be a voice. Your strong leadership and your beautiful heart gives them exactly that voice. As we dedicate this beautiful tree, we lead with hope. We hope for the safe return of our hostages, hope for strength and light to overcome the darkness, and above all, victory and peace. The tree serves as a living memorial. Its roots symbolize the pain and sorrow we feel at this moment. Its trunk symbolizes our knowledge and strength to overcome atrocities, just as we have for the past 4,000 years. But its leaves, my friends, they symbolize new life. They represent you, our future. And you are charging the way. Thank you to our amazing, amazing young leaders. We love you. We appreciate you. Keep shining. May the memories of those that are departed be a blessing. Am Yisrael Chai. Thank you for allowing me to speak. It's my pleasure to invite my colleague, John Marish, council member, to speak.
I'd also like to thank the students for organizing this, for not forgetting. This was my elementary school. I know it's probably not going to be anyone else's going forward. Hopefully that will change, but I have so many memories here from 9 years here, K through 8. Interestingly enough, our other colleague who couldn't make it, Craig Corman, also graduated from Hawthorne, so 40% of the Beverly Hills City Council are Hawthorne graduates. This tree was undoubtedly here even though it was decades ago that I graduated, and it was just a tree then. It is being given new meaning now by the ribbon that is around it, by the dedication, by the intent of everybody here to use this as a memory of what happened and the victims of October 7th. It is so important that we are here together, not just as a school community, not just as a Jewish community, not just as a Beverly Hills community, but a community of people who are on the side of what is right. You undoubtedly have seen at UCLA, at other schools, there are land acknowledgments, where at the county as well, they say that we honor and respect those who were here first and the indigenous people and all of that. Well, when it comes to Israel, we are the indigenous people, and don't let anyone else convince us of anything else. The notion that Jews are settler colonialists in our own ancient indigenous homeland, where they still speak the same language that was spoken 3,000 years ago, where there are artifacts about a continuous Jewish presence. And of course, the most important thing that gives us purchase on our indigenous homeland, Israel, is our memories, our collective memories. From generation to generation, we Jews have not forgotten who we are. We Jews have not forgotten where we come from, and we Jews have always vowed to return to that place that is our sacred and eternal homeland, Israel. People today who are trying to delegitimize Israel through false narratives, that is something we cannot allow to stand. And so not planting this tree, but dedicating this tree that existed before and transforming its meaning into something else reminds us of who we are as a people and also who we are as a community. I'm not an arborist, but this looks to me in some ways, I'm guessing, maybe there's an expert here who knows, this is not a native Californian tree. And many of us here, although we are native-born Americans, we have our roots somewhere else, and our roots are in the ancient land of Israel, even for those of us who have never been there, and I have been there several times, and if you haven't been there, you must go. That is our connection with our past. That is also the connection with the future. And that's why it is so important that these, I'm not going to call them children, young adults, these wonderful people here from the high school, where I also graduated, are standing here proud. The wave of anti-Jewish racism that we have seen, and that's what it is. Anti-Semitism sounds like it's a pseudo-scientific term. It's nothing else than hatred against Jewish people for being Jewish. It is a form of racism. It is racism. So the only, I feel, response to anti-Jewish racism is Jewish pride. And this is a wonderful example of Jewish pride. That includes our allies as well, like Dr. Brege. And we should be working to try and have as many of our non-Jewish friends go to see the Nova exhibition, go to Israel, learn about Israel, and include them. The sad thing is that anti-Semitism or anti-Jewish racism is like a pathological disease. And while there may not be a universal inoculation, sometimes education can help. I have a friend who was born in Saudi Arabia, and he grew up as a virulent anti-Semite, and by the fact that he was an exchange student in France with a Jewish family, that completely changed him. He is now an ardent Zionist. It can be done. That said, we must understand there are some people beyond help, and so as a result, we need to be here for each other. And if we feel that we are mainly alone, and in many cases we are, that some of the groups that traditionally we have supported have abandoned us, we must never forget we have each other. And so as a result, this is, again, these informal gatherings, or this one that the students have provided, are a wonderful example of our coming together as a community and the importance of community, the importance of memory, the importance of Jewish pride. I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of this, and this tree will stand as a remembrance of what happened 1 year ago, and how, yes, it changed our community, but sadly, if we go through the eons of Jewish history, we will find that what happened a year ago, sadly, isn't particularly something that is out of the ordinary, that Jews have been persecuted, killed, murdered, pogromed, and genocided for thousands of years because we refuse to give up. We refuse to give up our identities, we refuse to give up our people, we refuse to give up who we are. And thanks to people and children and young adults like this, we will prevail. I know we will win, and if anything, this also shows why we need Israel more than ever. Because people who compare this to the 30s in Germany, there is a huge difference and a huge game changer. In the 30s in Germany, they didn't have Israel. We do. We must never forget that. We must not only treasure and value each other, but we must defend and protect and cherish the state of Israel, and thank the Lord that we do have Israel. Thank you, everybody. Am Yisrael Chai. I'd like to introduce my colleague, who you know because she was on the school board, and the school board president, Mary Wells. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's really something to see everybody here today. I miss all of you, so I just want to say hello, and it's so nice to see your faces. It's very hard to follow all of these speakers today. I thought about today what it is that I really wanted to say to our students, and I'm so grateful that you've asked me to address you today. So thank you. It's an honor. I think about last year when October 7th happened and how truly devastated all of our community was. And, you know, it was this horrific massacre of October 7th, and everybody was feeling really, really lost, and many people felt really abandoned. And it was very difficult when we had the vigil last year to address how to make an explanation for this and what to do. And at that time, we talked about how our Jewish club and our Israel club and the student union jumped into action the very next day. And they went onto the PA system and they did a moment of silence. There was no hesitation. And I was so proud of you. And you organized the vigil, and you organized fundraisers, And you've had speakers come to speak that were Nova survivors. You had Holocaust survivors come. Today you had Stand With Us, a representative come to address the students at lunchtime. And in all of the despair of what has occurred, you are the light, and you are the leaders, and you've really taken action. And it inspires me, and it gives me hope for our future. I think about Beverly Hills and how proud I am to live here, and you've heard everybody talk about it. It's very special that we can be so supportive of Israel, that we can be so vocal about it, that we can have the flags in the middle of our cities so that other people and in their cities who do not feel that they have that freedom can come here or see or hear about this and know that it exists here. And I also feel that in our school district, you also have that freedom. There is a support in our school district for our students and our Jewish students, and we're committed to it like we are committed to it in our city. And with that also comes a responsibility, and you have taken on that responsibility. I personally feel that because we can, we should, and we have to have a voice, and we have to be able to speak out for those that can't, and we have to be able to take the stand and make the statements that you have been doing and what we have been doing in the city. The school board made a stand last year against anti-Semitism and supporting Israel. The city did the same, and I feel that we're very, very fortunate to live here. And I want to thank you for your leadership. I'm so proud of you. And the other thing that I really wanted to say to you, and I'm sorry if it seems like I'm rambling because I did not prepare something for today. When I think back about what has occurred in the last year, and I think about your generation, I just want to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry that at your age, you had to confront this level of hatred and anti-Semitism and Jew hatred at such a young age, and that you had to confront it head on. And I'm really sorry for that. But I also want you to know how incredibly proud I am of you, how much faith and hope I have in our future and in humanity because of you and what you're doing and what I know you will continue to do. And for those that cannot, you will help them have a way to be able to do that. You'll provide that for them, like we in the city are providing that by putting the flags out for people that can see that and say that they know they're not hated, that they're loved. And I love you, and you're not hated, and I stand with you, and I stand with you for being Jewish. I'm not Jewish. I am a Zionist. My family is Jewish, and as I said this morning, we live a Jewish life. And I stand with Israel, and you have my commitment as your leader to always be with you. So thank you for today. Keep doing what you're doing because it makes me smile. This is the best place to be because you are our future. And thank you to all of your parents and the community because this is what provides that base for you to have the comfort and the confidence to be able to do what you're doing. So thank you, and thank all of you.
Thank you so much to Mrs. Wells and the rest of our distinct speakers who are here today and everyone standing here with us. At this time, I'd like to invite everyone holding a yellow ribbon that is not only a ribbon, but a representation and has the names of every single one of the 101 hostages written on them, to form a line over here by the tree so you can place them up there. And I think we're out of ribbons, but whoever already is holding one, please. There's 3 different ways to fasten them up. We have pins, paper clips, and clothespins to pin them up on the tree.